Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another crypto market update. My name is Brendan from Crypto 101. And man, do we have a lot to talk about in today's episode, because for the last week or so, Bitcoin has been slowly consolidating to the upside, ready to break its all-time highs and make that inevitable run for $100,000. Now, there's a lot of catalysts that are kind of pushing Bitcoin to the upside. I want to talk about them today, but again, the bulk of the news is extremely bullish, and I want to explain just why the crypto space is looking so bright as we move into 2025. So all we ask over here is that if you like the content that we make for free, then consider hitting that like button, consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you really like the content, then check out some of those links in the description down below as well. So let's go ahead and kick things off here and show what is happening to the price chart of Bitcoin, because if we look at this previous all-time high, we moved well above that last week, right? I mean, we exploded from that previous all-time high of 73 all the way up to a new all-time high of $93,000. And ever since then, again, for the last week or so, we have been seeing Bitcoin really just consolidate slowly sideways, but with pressure building towards the upside here. And we can kind of see this happening in real time on Bitcoin. Now, do we only have to go up from here? Can we not see a down day? And I think that's silly to say that Bitcoin can't see any red days, because it's a quite volatile market. But the overall push that we're seeing here is that Bitcoin is bullish. And, it's clear that it wants to make a run for at least 100K, potentially even before the end of this year. I mean, heck, potentially before the end of this month. And as we move into the final month of this year and the final stages, and we kind of go into 2025, the crypto markets look fantastic, just fantastic. And if we go and we look over here at some of the other plays, maybe things like Microstrategy or Coinbase. Microstrategy just continues to perform and perform and perform. Even today, it's hitting new all-time highs while Bitcoin is kind of consolidating around its. Coinbase pushing up here to kind of its cycle highs. And we're seeing a lot of love come back to the crypto space over here. And again, there's a lot of pressure building towards the upside of Bitcoin. Maybe it doesn't happen today. Maybe it doesn't happen tomorrow. But it does look like the overall mid to long-term sentiment is still looking upwards and onwards for Bitcoin. And so there's a lot of really cool things that are happening here. And, one of the big catalysts that people have been waiting for and looking for is the addition of Bitcoin options for those Bitcoin ETFs. And this was something that we didn't have previously. And we're actually expecting this to happen at some point next year, probably in the early stages of next year. And out of left field almost, it's like, hey, these things are going live today. And this article says tomorrow, but it's today, the 19th, is the time that they're supposed to go live. And I have already checked. I checked as soon as the market opened. And sure enough, if you go to IBIT, which is BlackRock's ETF, you can see that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF now has options trading live on it as of November 19th, 2024. So this is a cool thing. It's a really good kind of wake up news for a lot of people who have been waiting for this. And I know options aren't for everyone, but again, it should add more liquidity and more interest, and it should ultimately just bring more money into the Bitcoin ETFs, which is, of course, a great thing to see. Now, we mentioned MicroStrategy and their stock price because, MicroStrategy is continuing to surge right after their $4.6 billion Bitcoin buy, which means that they now hold roughly 331,000 Bitcoin, just over that, at 331,200 Bitcoin, which is crazy. They're growing really fast. And the thing that I take away from this is that, MicroStrategy looks like they want to rival BlackRock's Bitcoin holdings. We kind of have this battle where it's between BlackRock and MicroStrategy right now, and they're seeing who can own more, and they're just buying and buying and buying. And it doesn't look like they want to slow down at all. Now, in addition to this, MicroStrategy is planning a $1.7 billion convertible notes offering in order, here's the key part, to expand their Bitcoin holdings. And this comes right after that previous article that we were just talking about how they just bought $4.6 billion. And now they want to buy another $1.75 billion worth of Bitcoin. So the plan to slow down here is just not going anywhere. they want to continue to buy and buy and buy, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. And the shareholders are happy. The price of MicroStrategy continues to just go up and to the right. And again, sentiment around crypto is doing great. And another one of the big reasons for this is this headline that came out yesterday as well on the 18th. President-elect Donald Trump is going to be meeting with Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong. And why is this important? Well, Trump has said that he wants to make the U.S. kind of the crypto capital of the world. He wants all future Bitcoin to be mined here. He wants to ease on regulation. He wants to get rid of Gary Gensler. He said all these things, right? And so now what we can start to see is that he is hopefully putting those words to action and meeting with someone that is running the largest, arguably the largest exchange in the world, especially here in the States. And he's meeting with them. And this is also a company that has had major troubles with the SEC, and they've been wanting to do stuff, and they've gotten shot down and sued and all these things. And he's going to be meeting with him, hopefully, ideally, for a lot of really positive things. And that seems to be where, most of the speculation is. So, if we continue on to some of these Bitcoin ETFs too, I think that this is, again, Bitcoin ETFs. Recently, like last week, we saw a little bit of outflows, but I think it's to be expected. But even with all the outflows, and this is the takeaway and the reason that I show this, is that even with all the outflows, Bitcoin's still consolidating at its all-time highs. And it just goes to show that Bitcoin's price appreciation doesn't need the Bitcoin ETFs. It's just complemented by it. Even on some of these days over here where we were having, what was this? $500 or $400 million in net in total outflows, the price of Bitcoin is still able to appreciate. And even days after that, it's all the way back up right at its all-time high. So again, I think that this is something that really complements Bitcoin. And the more ETF inflows we see, again, the more upside appreciation that we see. And even when we're seeing outflows, at least at the current moment, it's really having little to no impact on the actual price of Bitcoin because, again, there's so many buyers here from a retail perspective. And on the days that we do have outflows, we usually see that the subsequent days have double the amount of inflows, the subsequent weeks. And then the inflows end up far surpassing the amount of outflows. And that's kind of been one of the main stories and takeaways on that front. So to kind of round us out over here, this is another cool thing that I noticed. And for anyone who's been around for like a couple market cycles, you remember this company called Bakkt, right? Back in the day, I think it was like 2018 maybe. They were the talk of the town. Everyone thought that this was going to be the thing that sends us to the moon. And it was this crypto trading platform. And now it looks like Trump Media is in reports to buy Bakkt. Which is quite a big deal. And again, when we go back to that previous point of Trump meeting with Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong, we look at this as a positive thing because Trump has already launched a crypto project that I believe is a fork of Aave. And so it's run on Ethereum. And now he's meeting with Brian Armstrong about stuff. And now he's looking to acquire Bakkt, which is a crypto trading platform. And we have all these things happening. And it just makes you wonder, the future of crypto cannot look bearish when you're looking at all these articles. And I was actually trying to challenge myself today to look for some sort of negatives because I like to talk about all the news, the good, the bad, everything in between. And I had a really hard time, hence why I don't have anything up here. I couldn't find really anything negative. I think the most negative thing that I saw is that we had Bitcoin ETF outflows about a week ago. And despite that, here we are sitting right below our all-time high within $1,000 of it. So there's just constantly all this really, really positive news. And it looks like 2025 is going to be a killer year for crypto. So I, for one, am excited about it. It's a super awesome time for all crypto holders across the board. Who knows, by the time that we make this market update next week, we could be significantly higher. Fingers crossed we are. But we, for one, are going to continue to cover everything that's happening here. And we hope that all of you enjoy and kind of follow us along for the ride. Now, if you're new here and you want to get plugged into a crypto community, we have a really good one called Crypt Nation. In fact, we're going to have a link in the description down below where you can go check us out, get plugged in. My good buddy Bryce Paul wrote a book called The Crypto Revolution, and so you can go check that out as well. And we'd love to see all of you be able to interact inside that community and really just talk and converse with people who are like-minded and invested in the crypto space as well. So that's going to wrap us up for today's video. We hope that all of you enjoyed. If you did, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you really liked it, check out those links in the description down below.